humans, it's just Martine, and today we're going to be recapping my 2021 goals and seeing, did I get them? I took the liberty of going through the video that I made around this time last year. It was actually earlier than this last year because it's already January 8th, but because I had the 12 TBRs of Christmas coming out, I didn't have time for other content. So I went through that video and I made a list of all the goals that I said in it, and then I went through and wrote whether or not I did them. So I'm just gonna go over that with you now. Actually, my next video will be my 2022 goals, so look out for that. At the beginning of the video, the first thing I said was that I wanted to find some type of success in existing instead of having more like concrete goals. I wanted to be content with where I was, and especially to find some type of identity outside of the academic world. So I wanted to focus on taking care of me, and I wanted to set boundaries on various things in my life, including YouTube if I needed to. Basically, where all that stands is last year I did work on that, but that's a lifelong change that's going to happen over a couple of years. So I'm proud to say that I did make progress in that. And then as far as boundaries on videos and reading in order to focus on me when I needed it, I did take a couple of breaks from YouTube, and I also learned to reduce my uploading schedule, which helped a lot because my uploading schedule was weird anyway. Only made sense to me, so I changed it. Now into the meat and potatoes of this, my reading goals from last year. I set my Goodreads reading goal to 52 books. I smashed this. I read 209 books, which is the most books I've read in a year. It was frankly concerning. Kayla, in her goals wrap-up video, said that the number of books that she read last year for a reader was great, but for a non-reader was horrifying. And I have to agree wholeheartedly on that. Some non-readers in my life, I told them how many books I read this year, and they're concerned for me. I did have a couple of months where I didn't read as much. Last April, I hit a reading slump, and I did make a couple videos on that. That's also around the time when I set some of those boundaries and reduced my upload schedule. But then there were some months where I went absolutely crazy. For instance, last January, I managed to read 31 books. That's not gonna happen this January, by the way. Not gonna happen. There was also June with Whatever-a-thon, and I was having a rough summer, and reading was like my main coping mechanism. So I think I read like 22-ish books that month, something crazy. So anyway, I read over 200 books, which I'm never going to strive to do, but it happened. So I did read over 52 books. I also wanted to get better at leaving reviews, but I made it very manageable for myself. I said that I just wanted to leave the 5 things reviews that I leave. So on a book, I just write 5 things about it. They don't have to be good or bad things about it. They're just things about it. And I did that for every single book that I read this year, which is super exciting that I did that, and I'm going to continue to do that because now it's ingrained in my brain. Whenever I enter something on Goodreads, I type 5 things, and then I type the 5 things, and that's my review. Whether or not that's interesting for anyone, I don't know, but I do it. It's part of my process now. I also, last year, was mentioning that I have a lot of books that I read that I don't talk about, and that I want to fix that. And originally I was doing goal wrap-ups at the beginning of last year, and that was a place where I got to at least mention a book that I had read that I didn't talk about otherwise, but I stopped doing that pretty quickly. This is something, you know, that's a little weird for me because I obviously make a lot of secret TBRs, so there are books that I can't tell you about. And so if I do a wrap-up at the end of each month and tell you, then you already know about those books. But I also did a bad job of, like, I included all those books usually in vlogs for readathons when I read them, and so the answer is I didn't find a good system for that. But I still want to. I also mentioned something about facial expression reactions as reviews to books, and I didn't do that, but I'm not sure about that one. My next reading goal was to read books from smaller authors. I definitely did that. I would say the majority of books I read this year were from authors I'd never heard of before. Winning. I also said that I wanted to have an increase in diversity rep in the books that I was reading, although I made the caveat that I know that my budget often limits the amount that I can do this. Although I have to say, at places like the Dollar Tree, I found some really diverse reads before. So who's to say? and I am happy to report that I think I did this pretty well. I don't have statistics to show you or anything about it. The main example that I can think of is how many LGBTQIA+ books I read during Pride Month. It was a lot of them. So if you're interested in any of those, check out my Whatever-a-thon vlogs, because there were just so many, especially because it was extra points for Whatever-a-thon, and I just had a lot that I was reading at the time. That's that. And those were all my reading goals for last year. I only had one school goal that I included in this list, and that's to turn in the work and do your best. And I did that. I did turn in my work. Woohoo! Because again, it goes back to the like academic identity, separate identity from academics type thing. Setting realistic standards for myself in school instead of being like, get all A's every semester. It's just do it. Just do the work, you know? Things will follow. As for video goals, I had a couple. I had my arbitrary 2 times a week and a third video every second week, and I scrapped that. Don't know why I ever did that, to be honest with you. I'd rather just put out 2 videos a week. What I'd really love in the future is to get to a place where I could put out 3 videos a week. I don't think I'll ever get there, but I'd really love to be putting out that much content in a week. I love when a video goes live so much. But for right now, 2 times a week would be ideal. But if I get to a place where I have to upload 1 time a week, you know, so be it. It's my last semester of college, so we're gonna be understanding with ourselves. I also had the goal to build up playlists for different projects, so like my Project Gutenberg playlist and stuff. Now, very technically, I did this a little bit. Like, I think my Project Gutenberg playlist, for example, gained like 2 videos, which is more than none. But I do have to say that there are some playlists that I really wish were beefier than they are. However, I don't know why I'm criticizing how much I did for that, because a lot of those videos take a lot of work, and the fact that I made any is like really great. I'm just gonna say that was a win. You know what was not a win though? The Kingdom Keepers reread. I'm stuck on 5. Fun fact, I've started reading the 5th Kingdom Keepers book for this reread project 2 separate times. I've gotten about 100 pages in each time. Started the video both of those times. The second time I restarted, I was like, none of that was good, I'm just gonna redo it. And now I think when I eventually get around to rereading the 5th book, I'm going to pretend like the first 100 pages don't exist. I don't have the film anymore save for that. I'm just gonna be like, this happened, we're moving on. The 5th book is my least favorite book in the series by like a lot. I have so many angry feelings about that book, and you'll have to wait for that video, if it ever comes out, to understand what I mean. Unless you've read the 5th Kingdom Keepers book, then you probably know. That's made it really hard to want to read it, to be honest with you. I also had a goal to make new video ideas. I think I definitely did that. I think I made lots of weird and random videos this year. I'm gonna call that a success, a victory, as it were. And then I wanted to include more writing content, because at the end of all my videos I say, and subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And I gave myself a squiggle, as in I kind of accomplished this. Because I did include some more writing content at the beginning of last year, but then it fell off because I wrote half of a draft of a book, half of a second draft, and not the second half of that draft, unfortunately. I got stuck in the middle there, and so the writing content kind of, but I also did make some videos on school writing, which is something that I mentioned that I wanted to do. I made a couple videos on my thesis, so all in all, we had some more writing content this year, and that's good. And then my word of the year was here, and it was all about mindfulness. And I don't think that went well for me. I don't believe that went well. So that was last year. Oh, just kidding. I also had my 21 for 2021, and I said in the goal video that I set for last year, like, I'm not going to reveal them to you because we'll walk through them after. I only got through 14 of them. No. I got through 14 of them. Woohoo! So the 14 that I did get through, I read 52 books, I started my honors thesis, I hit 200 subscribers, I reached 100 videos on my channel, I got a budget approved for my club, I turned 22, I sent Bailey a letter, I finished watching The Circle France, I filled a brain dump journal, this one, I prepped for and took the GRE, I applied to grad school, I read a 100 lifetime reads pick, I went 1 month without buying books, and I tried a crossword puzzle. There were some other things that I didn't do, like log my activity hours for my honors program, or write a draft of a book because I only got halfway through, or read a psych journal or magazine because I was reading lots of other things, or finishing my Kingdom Keepers reread, for instance. Watching 5 from Netflix Watch Later, didn't accomplish that. 2 from Hulu Watch Later, absolutely not. And I didn't finish watching Little Fires Everywhere on Hulu. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below anything you want, really. And subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!